All right, well, it's time. Worked out getting my vase made. I've had a chance to go through and do all the smoothing that I wanted to do. Um, Hands, did some paddling, tried the card tool, tried rolling it on the table a little bit, just anything I could to smooth things out. I tried to correct any imperfections that I could. There's still going to be some little things, you know. We're all humans and we have the ability to do things, but not perfectly. So, it's time for me to start adding my design. And so that's what I want to get into showing you now. So let's go get started. All right, so I have my design, what I'm going to go with. I got the vase to work on. Before I do my final thing, I'm going to take a sponge that's been squeezed out, so it's kind of a damp sponge. And I'm going to do that just to finalize that surface, because you can't do this later on when your design is in there. So just wherever you can do that, and just you'll really carefully look. Hopefully you have some good lighting enough to see what's going on. You want to make your surfaces as neat as possible. One thing might be, here's a little piece of the cereal box I was using for my template. I can use that like as a ruler, but because it's flexible, I'm able to have it go around however I might want it to be. So anywhere I want straight lines, I can use that. Serves it like a flexible ruler. Then I want to get a mark on here so I can let go of this. So I could use any sort of scoring tool, pencil, could be the little tool that you had that has a bobby pin attached to the end. It's nice to have a line that I can follow. So this is working pretty good, actually. I'm happy with that. I got to be aware of hanging on to it. If I let go of it, be aware that I'm arranging it back in the right way. I got to keep kind of both hands, keep it moving around. Now, if you have little mess ups, thankfully the clay is soft enough, I can rub it out. So kind of like erasing, it happens. All right, so there it is. I now have lines drawn into, carved into all the spots that I want the sections. Okay, so one thing I talk about is the tools. You have included in your kit the little stick. It's a little piece of wood, looks like a little pencil. And then on the end, it is a bobby pin. Anyway, it's been taped on the end. Well, this is to emulate or to copy. It's called a loop tool. Loop tools, these are the ones I really like. These ones we have in the classroom. So it's the same idea, different shapes though. So I got a triangular one, a circular one. There's ones that really look a lot like this. So it's the same idea. It's just a little loop on the end, a little metal loop. They come in sizes even bigger like this. Even huge ones like this, depending on what you're doing, can come in handy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this to give myself wider lines, and think about if I was gonna zoom in close to, I want the line, if it'll focus on me. Yeah, it won't. Focus time, focus, there you are. That's the line is gonna cut into the clay. It's gonna be a wider, rounder line. So now that I have the lines drawn on here, I can try making the line different. And so I like to keep contact with this if possible, a little bit neater. And so I'm gonna try drawing along that line. You'll see I'm going very slow, and what's happening is you're getting this curling effect where the clay is getting curled up and coming out of there. So of course, if I wanted a skinnier line, then this is not the best option. But I want to show you the option of changing the thickness of the line by using a different tool. Also, same problem as before. If I wanted straight lines, it can be tricky, absolutely. All right, well, let me just keep working away at this. Okay, now, big thing that will make this look better will be if I can actually make that a softer line. And so I'm gonna take that damp sponge again and just go along the edge. I wanna get rid of any of the debris, of course. I just wanna have it a really smooth line. Look at that, that's looking pretty good. So, something to shoot for. So I keep doing that. So I wanna do it down here. You can see the difference. one versus the other. You know, one looks really elementary and the other one looks a lot more sophisticated. So it's worth going over those lines more than once, without a doubt. So, time for me to keep going. And now it's time for me to put my design in. And so I have the design of all these kind of rounded rectangles, and then some more overlapping, kind of going all over the place, different directions. And I want to be able to draw that with what I'm comfortable with. I can use this. If you are comfortable drawing, you can use a pencil. Let me see how that goes. So it's just like drawing on paper, in that if I have something I don't like, I can rub it out. I want to do that sparingly though, because it is hard to get it to go away completely. So same thing as if you draw really dark and it's hard to erase. If you draw hard, it's going to be hard to erase. I just need to have it lighter. So if I want to just try out an idea without really committing to it, I'd want to do it very lightly, where I'm barely getting into the surface. Those would be easy to buff out and make it go away. Take a little, little bit of time, sure, but it is possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and just draw my lines out. Now I happen to be using a sharp pencil. Of course, a dull pencil is gonna be a lot wider of a groove. So if that's what I want, then you're gonna have to go do a whole bunch of writing and get your pencil dull. And my idea didn't have a specific layout. It was just kind of the general idea of having these rounded rectangles kind of go amongst each other here. And eventually, that'll be it. So, time for me to keep on drawing. One thing is, if you are continuing to carve in and you're leaving a lot of the extra little bits of clay or falling down onto your table, you got to be aware of that, so that if you're ever laying your clay down, those things may be getting pressed into your design. And so every once in a while you're going to want to move those away. Being aware of where they are is good. Otherwise you get halfway around and you realize that you're messing up your original design. One thing I like about the pencil is it allows me to really see it better, because it's leaving a little bit of a dark mark on there that will help me see it right now. And any of the graphite that's in the pencil will burn away in the firing, so it won't actually change the color. When this fires, it'll be all white, and then it'll be up to using glazes to create the color as we go along. I'm just lightly going across it. I'm not trying to press any of those crumbs into the grooves, so I can go over it again and again and again. I'm just kind of lightly kind of flicking off. Hey, I heard what I said. I'm kind of flicking off the crumbs of clay and see if it's really coming together. Now when I'm doing this, I certainly run the risk of smushing those little pieces of clay into those grooves, creating more work for myself, absolutely. Just be aware of what you're doing. So we got a little imposter right here. Yeah, that's the imposter. I'm not pressing down hard at all, but I am kind of going across it fairly fast. Again, pay attention to what's happening to the clay when you're doing it. If it seems like you're making it worse, don't keep doing that. This sponge is almost completely dry at this point. If I have water in there now, I run the risk of it softening it up too much and destroying my lines or making them less visible. At this point, after going over everything 2 and maybe 3 times, I don't really want to do it again. I think I've had enough. Not sure what's going on here. All right, so now it's time for me to do the upper ring. Okay, same thing. All right, well that concludes vase making, coil-built vase making, and I hope that you enjoy doing it. At the same time realizing there's a lot of work that goes into making things look good. And this can be one of those times that you get done and you're just really proud of how hard you worked at something and how, because you worked so hard, it turned out great. So enjoy this time. I can't wait to see what you make.